Since the fall of man, a war has raged between good and evil. Over the centuries, this war has distorted the truth. Now the truth is perceived as lies, and lies acknowledged as truth. To this day, the battle continues as we investigate and debate the truth behind the history and mystery of the universe. We are Paratruth Radio.
Jim Malliard is the host with the most, puts the quack in the report, and leads a wide audience of para-freaks on an interesting journey of paranormous proportions. Join us as we welcome Jim Malliard to Paratruth Radio.
Now Paratruth presents The Haunting Sound of the Dark with special guest Jim Malliard.
What's going on, Parafans? Welcome to another episode of Paratruth Radio.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
So, welcome to another episode. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And tonight we've got another great show for you. But to start things off, how has your week been so far there, good sir?
It's been all right. I haven't done much other than work out. That's about it. I've been off of work like all week because, they suck at giving hours. But, it's whatever. So, yeah. Literally, I don't know if you guys can see on YouTube, I'm a little darker today than I was last week. And that's after just one day, 2 hours in the sun. So,
and not to make you feel self-conscious, but I can tell by your arm width that you've lost quite a bit of mass.
I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't weighed myself. I've been spending a lot of time in the gym. I did 2.5 hours today. So
well, but before that though, you haven't really been able to get to the gym because of school and doing the film and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's been kind of rough getting to the gym, but since the last month and a half, 2 months, I've been going pretty consistently, pretty much every other day, and lately I just changed it up and spending even more time. Was doing like an hour up until a month ago, and then it's like, okay, time to spend more time there.
I've been trying to start to get to the gym too. It's been slow going, but I am trying to get to a regular routine again because I don't want to not fit into my suit come the weather. So folks, whoa, whoops, wrong one.
The heck was that?
That was an angry cat. What I wanted was this. But today, folks, we've got a awesome guest on. His name's Jim Malliard. And he does a podcast called The Malliard Report. We were actually on his show a couple of weeks ago, so if you guys missed it, it is on YouTube, it is on Spreaker, so just check out The Malliard Report and you'll find it. So I guess without further ado, let's go to the line with our friend Jim Malliard. Jim, welcome to Paratruth Radio. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good, actually. Nice weather today, which it's been storming here the last couple, so it's nice to get out and enjoy some sunshine for a change.
Well, to let everybody know who you are, where you're coming from, tell them a little bit about yourself and about your podcast.
I'm Jim Malliard, the host of the Malliard Report, the fastest hour in paranormal talk radio. So I do that. That's my podcast. And I actually started as a paranormal investigator a couple years before the show started. So that's where I guess ghost hunter would probably be the more operative term, I guess, is what we were doing. And then it turned into paranormal investigator as I got interested in UFOs and Sasquatch and all the rest of the the things that go on.
Everything that has fell under the paranormal umbrella, right?
Yeah, everything. You know, when you say paranormal, people just think you're talking about ghosts, and then you actually start looking into it, and you go, where exactly are the edges of this anymore? Because you start expanding your horizons. Now it's even into conspiracy theories, and I could kind of consider those paranormal. So it's kind of all weird,
right?
So.
Yeah.
So, I guess the first question, I mean, you and I have known each other for years, even though I kind of forgot for a while until you reminded me. What actually got you started with the paranormal?
My son we were in Gettysburg, and my son's 6 or 7 months old, and he started babbling at something. We were in a haunted cellar. He started babbling off at something that wasn't there, wasn't a person, wasn't anything. And then the storyteller, I guess, I don't think he'd appreciate that, but that's what I'm going to call him. All these stories about this child that would like to play with other children, you know. But meanwhile, I'm just seeing my son doing something that I haven't seen him do anywhere else on the planet in the last 7 or 8 months, or 6 or 7 months. Mm-hmm. So that kind of got me going. And then I did hear parts of these little things that he was playing with another child, and I'm like, you know, you start doing that stuff. And then the next day we were out in the battlefield, and I seen I guess I should preference this way. I thought I seen a reenactor, and apparently it wasn't. So I'll just leave it at that.
Huh.
It's always an interesting day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was an interesting 24 hours, and then you start processing through what. Okay, so you might have seen something, and then you figure out what you might have seen, and then, well, as I say, that just keeps. As you try to explain it, you start getting more questions, and I was talking to somebody the other day. I still don't remember what the original question was, but I don't have the answer yet either.
So after that, you're just simply hooked, huh?
Yeah, and then you start talking to people. You know, you start feeling people out. I guess you don't even start talking to people about it. You can't just come out and say it to most people,
right?
So you've had that pre-conversation where you try not to come across totally nuts, especially the first few people that you're trying to tell this to.
Right.
Because until you get a level of confidence going, now I'll just walk up to someone and say, yeah, I believe in ghosts. Not a big deal. But back then, when you weren't so even sure what you were believing in,
right,
it was different at best. But then it got easier, and then I started actually pursuing it with the investigations and stuff, and then now I sit around and talk about it quite a bit. So.
Well, what was the transition then for you from investigating to just deciding to talk about it with your listeners?
Well, I would still investigate tomorrow if the opportunity presented itself, but I've narrowed the focus down. It's become a lot more conductive with the family and stuff just to talk about it time-wise. But the transition originally came from because my team, we were trying to figure out ways to engage people on our website, and I said, well, let's start doing some YouTube videos, and we started doing them, and they told me they didn't want to do them anymore, and I still wanted to talk to people about the paranormal, and the next thing I know, I did a couple YouTube videos, and then I found out this wonderful platform called Internet Radio, and I've been hooked on that. That's what I've been more hooked on ever since. Just the opportunities that allows you to talk to people, not only guests, but the listeners from around the world with simple means and simple communications, and that's beyond me. I still haven't gripped that part of it all, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. So that actually kind of just sounds like our story wrapped into one person.
Yeah, it's a common. I don't want to say common story, but it's I know your story, so it's close. So
yeah. So after doing paranormal investigations, and both Eric and I have had several, we've actually done the past 4 episodes on it. Have you ever come across anybody that has had same or similar interactions, I guess you could say, with the paranormal world as you have?
No, not really. I mean, there's always there's always that thread that runs through everybody's experiences they've had. It seems that there isn't necessarily the mirror images of any same experiences for anybody. Right. Even people when you're going out and investigating, how they receive the message, I guess, is I'm trying to figure out a word there. I feel like the car accident thing, 2 people see the same car accident and then they tell you a different story later. So it becomes interesting to see how that all comes back. I guess is the word to put it. So, which is good because I think it's good that people are seeing similar things but not the same thing, because if I'm sure you guys have realized this, if somebody comes back, two people come back and tell you the exact same story, it sounds rehearsed.
Well, with your radio show now, I'm sure you get a lot of interaction from your viewers. Does anyone approach you or, email you, message you, whatever, with either photos or footage that they found on their own investigations that they would like help with? Getting like that second eye or...
Every once in a while. It used to be a lot more. And then I guess word got out that I was kind of, how do I say this nicely? I wasn't necessarily their best friend when it came to that kind of thing, because okay, I'll tell you when it kind of broke, and I talked about it on the show. Somebody sent me a picture. They were investigating a cemetery, which I don't agree with in the first place. And they said, look at this cool mist picture we got. And I said, send me more pictures, because one picture doesn't tell me about what you were doing that night. Right. And I said, I need to see more, because I had seen that kind of a mist before, but I couldn't place my finger on it. And they sent me 5 more pictures, and sure enough, in the corner of the one picture was somebody smoking. And I sent back, was anybody smoking that night? Oh, no, we don't smoke during investigations. And I cropped that thing up and sent it back, and I said, there's your mist. If you don't believe me, go take some more pictures of it. And, after that, I don't think, I probably got 2 or 3 since then, but before that, it was more, because, I don't want to waste their time, and I don't want to waste my time getting these, obvious, like I said, I knew I'd seen it, but I couldn't remember if it was somebody's breath or a cigarette smoke, and then when I seen the cigarette, I knew which one it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if they didn't want you to debunk it, why did they send it to you in the first place?
Yeah, well, I think there was kind of the angle, hey, we caught this awesome apparition, we need to be on your show talking about it.
Oh, okay.
I guess it was their original end game, I guess, and, well, it didn't work out so well for them.
And it seems that the jaded people are the first ones to tell you what a, no pun intended, quack you are, that you didn't agree with their perspective on it.
Yeah, that's the other thing that kills me, when you come back with either the I'm on the fence still or less than opinion of what their evidence is. No matter how you break it to them, you're wrong.
Right.
They come to you they just want confirmation. They don't want the other side. And if you want confirmation, don't ask questions. Just believe what you believe, and that's fine. If you want to believe that orb is your grandma, that's fine. Don't just leave it at that. Don't ask people about it. Just believe it.
Right. Well, I feel like, nowadays even though the paranormal is so widespread, I think a lot of people are just looking for that confirmation that there's something there, that they're, that whatever it is, even no matter how fake it is or how, practical it is that they're coming across, they might think it's real. But instead of just keeping it to themselves, they need to get it out there and they need to share it and hope that somebody will agree with them, just so that they have, that kind of that basis on their own, just like, oh, okay, so I'm not totally crazy. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of people out there that I've noticed, and no one that we've necessarily come across yet, but there's people out there who will purposely target some of us, on the radio show, who constantly talk about, oh, we used to do all these investigations, and we debunk this and debunk that, and they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to come up with this thing and send it to you and see, are you really going to debunk it, or are you just going to give it the ghost thing and say, hey, good catch? So.
Yeah, there's a level of that, and there's a level of people who want to be the one that say got whoever they're sending the emails to, and that get one over on the Paratruth boys. Oh, we got that Photoshop past those guys. They don't know. Don't listen to them. Well, no. Truthfully, I'm sure you guys get them too. You look at them, you take a minute maybe and look at it and answer it. You don't spend hours, and when you get one picture, you don't have any. I mean, you don't know the frame rate. You don't know what the person was doing before or after they took the picture. You just get this one still image, and they want you to judge, jury, and executioner it. And I can't do that. I hated doing that with stuff when I was present in the room, knowing the conditions, let alone somebody that I don't know their camera, and don't know all these other things.
Right.
But I'll do it. I mean, I'll give it my best shot and whatever. But
well, I just told Eric that I'm so happy that he went through the film schooling that he did, because there's pictures that you can manipulate the colors and everything else to see the depth of it, or is it translucent truly, or is it just something that the camera picked up the wrong way? So it's one of those things that people don't think in that aspect as well. They don't think to change the color or fade out all color, just do black and white to see what it looks like. They just stick on that one picture. And a lot of people, and Eric and I just had this conversation before the show, people will see what they want to see as well, because I forget the term that they use, but you form an image in your mind at something you're looking at, even if that thing is not what is.
Well, it's like the EVP thing. When you post it up on the screen, it says "get out," and then you see "get out," you hear "get out."
Right.
So it's all connected. When you start subconsciously sending messages to people, that's what they're going to see or hear, and it's human nature. And I don't know how we get around that. I haven't figured that one out yet. Maybe that was my question. How do we get around human nature and figure out the truth?
Now, doing the show for as long as you have, one thing that Eric and I have kind of stuck away from is conspiracy theories. Do you think there's any validity to conspiracy theories? This is a two-parter. And if you do, which ones are more valid than others?
Well, I do believe okay. I'm not going to go all Alex Jones on you and say everything's a false flag and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But pull it back to the root, and there's probably something to all of them. Now, is it as big as they say it is? Probably not. Because when you start spinning these things, the hype and sensationalism we've been talking about, so you have to be the bold over the top. But so there is something to all of them. Now, which ones catch my eye? I guess I haven't really talked about this on my show, but it's the one that catches my eye ultimately is Sandy Hook, because when they tore the building down without letting people in it, that just kind of doesn't sit well with me. Okay. Because you look at Columbine, they actually sent kids back in there to go to school. So when you weigh those two out, you go, something just isn't right about that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Is it a conspiracy? I don't know. It just doesn't pass the smell test, I guess. So that's probably the easiest one to point to that I don't want to say keeps me up awake at night, because it doesn't, because it is what it is. The building's gone and there's nothing we can do about it now.
Right.
But something doesn't set right with me on that one, at least.
Okay.
Well, and in regards to conspiracies, then, you think of Hurricane Katrina, for example. One of the big things there was when the Ninth Ward was flooded. They had the break wall that broke apart, and the entire Ninth Ward was flooded. And they said that was something that the government planned from the beginning, in a way to exterminate the Ninth Ward. Now, is that something that you think? And of course, this is like really out there, but is that something that you think is possible, that the government would be willing to do that, or has any kind of weight to it, or is it just kind of like people, trying to find an answer because they can't deal with the truth?
Well, and then you get back into the weather, the government-controlled weather, and did they target that? And that's heavy. That's above my pay grade. I'm not going to go there. But would the government be willing to kill its own people, I guess is your question. And the jury's still out for me, because you start hearing these things and you go, boy, it doesn't make sense. Why would they want to do that? I mean, it doesn't make sense. But then you see it, you keep seeing it repetitively. You go back to 9/11, and there's all those theories around that. So that adds is the government killing our people, and then you got these wars stacked on 9/11 where they kill people. So you kind of go, I cringe about it. I don't want to believe our government is killing our own people.
Right.
But it's foggy. But I'm not willing to come out and boldly, straightly say it. But I'm not willing to say no, they're not doing it either.
Right.
Yeah. All right, folks. I think we're going to go to our first break here. You are listening to Paratruth Radio. We will be right back after Eric's random fact of the day.
Now, Eric's random fact of the day.
Did you know that kangaroos can't fart? According to dailyrandomfacts.com, they convert the small quantity of methane that they produce into an energy source, which their body reuses. Scientists hope that one day they will be able to transfer the bacteria that causes this in kangaroos to cows, in hopes to reduce methane emissions in order to save the world from the latest fashionable catastrophe, which is global warming.
This was Eric's random fact of the day.
All right, folks, welcome back to Paratruth Radio. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And we've been talking to Jim Malliard about his show, the Malliard Report, some of his different takes on things. So, Jim, we've talked about conspiracy theories, we've talked about ghosts. Is there, like, a specific cryptid that piques your interest over others?
It's big. It's got to be Bigfoot. I called him Sasquatch earlier. I get conflicted. I don't know. Depends what. I guess it depends what time of day it is. What I'm supposed to call him. I don't know.
What area you're in? Is it Pacific
if
time?
if I'm facing the north, I guess it's Bigfoot. I don't know. But it seems it's because there's so many reports, but nothing beyond the report. I mean, there's few pictures and videos if you want to believe any of those.
Right.
But there's enough reports that validate the fact there should be video or in pictures, and I believe physical evidence by this point.
Yeah.
I mean, we send thousands of people out in the woods every year with guns hunting something other than Bigfoot. You'd think somebody would have, I don't know, by chance bagged one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, in the end, I know, like, both Justin and I agree on this. I think we kind of just chop it up to misidentification when it comes to Bigfoot, because, you know, it is probably one of the best known cryptids out there in the world, whether you're talking about Sasquatch or Bigfoot or the Yeti or whatever. And I think just the fact that there's so much or so many rumors, I guess, going around, and so many so-called sightings, that when you go out in the woods, I mean, even I myself, you know, when I go out in the metro parks and stuff, I'm like, okay, you know, is there a chance I'm going to see something around here, especially down here in Virginia, you know, in the Smoky Mountains, in the Blue Ridge. I mean, it's one of the big places that Bigfoot is supposedly spotted. And so when I'm out there, especially at night, I'm just like, my eyes are wandering. And every once in a while, and Justin knows this, I mentioned it on the show a couple of times, I'll be driving down the highway and I have to second and, you know, third guess myself, like, what the heck was that? Oh, it's just a tree. It's just a tree, but it looked like it was Bigfoot. I'm telling you. But I don't know. I agree. I think that there should be a whole lot more evidence out there.
I had somebody telling me, goodness, I'm going to say months ago, I don't know, it's been a while ago, that Bigfoot is possibly interdimensional, which would lead us to, oh, okay, well, then once you say that opens that whole.
Right.
So there isn't going to be X, Y, and Z. That's why we're not having a lot of sightings and footprints and all this other stuff. And then you go, wait, interdimensional? So what else is interdimensional? What else? I mean, fairies, leprechauns. I mean, you could just put anything, say it's interdimensional then.
Right.
So I don't know. That's where it kind of gets very conflicting, and I don't know. That probably keeps me up more than some of these conspiracy theories.
Well, and when you say interdimensional, what does that even mean? Like, for example, from the Christian standpoint of things, angels and demons could be interdimensional, but does that mean all these other things are separate from those? Are they something that is jumping in between and just making us perceive whatever we want? You know. Yeah. Interdimensional just makes it so much more complicated.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good out.
Right.
For any of these things, it's just a good. Oh, they're in a different dimension. Don't worry about it. When you see it, you see it. You'll know it. Okay.
Well, and that's why a lot of people explain it that the pictures are blurry or that sort of thing as well.
As long as my show is being heard in the other dimension, I'm good with it.
Well, I've come across numerous reports where supposedly someone had seen a UFO, one that had landed, and apparently there were Bigfoot stepping in and out of this, object, this flying object of some sort. And of course, again, there's never any pictures. And if there are pictures, they're always on the crappy cell phones that are like the Razor from back in the 90s, you know, that nobody freaking uses anymore.
The flip phones that actually my in-laws still use flip phones. They don't want a smartphone.
It's just beyond me that in this day of age, with the equipment, the technology that we have, that we are incapable of capturing anything with a clear photograph.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it a step further. The UFO thing is really interesting because we've got radar. We've got these air or ground-to-air missile programs out there that are supposed to shoot things down. Right. Well, I mean, we've spent, I don't even know how, more money than I could fill the room behind me with, and they're not doing it. So I don't know. I mean, is that because they're told not to do that, or is that because they're not out there? Or see, that's the next thing that really gets me is some guy in his backyard with a flip phone has a UFO landing in there, and this thing manages to avoid all radar and all airplanes, all satellites. I mean, you got to figure at some point one of these things is going to clip a satellite, and I'm not going to have TV.
Right.
Maybe there's space. Yeah, I know. I mean, where did that channel go? I don't know. I mean, so it's hard. I don't know. It's hard for me to come to grips with, I guess. But I believe we're not the most intelligent thing ever anywhere. But I don't know where the other is.
Right. Well, I mean, it kind of goes along your beliefs, like the basis of Paratruth Radio. Eric believes strictly the Christian standpoint, where I'm thinking more along the mainstream view. And Eric has said, you know, he doesn't want to say that there isn't intelligent life out there, but do I believe that they're coming here, that they're conspiring with our government, that we have the technology that they have already? Maybe. But is it probable? Highly unlikely, because
again, if our government's interacting with them,
right.
They're not interacting with. I was going to say they're not interacting with our most intelligent people. Right. So I mean, and take the iPhone for example. Is that the best they've got? If they've traveled billions of miles, and that's the best. I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. I get it, but if that's the best they've got, I mean, I don't know. I'd hope they have something better, but
right.
You would think. I mean, and just in regards to like the military. Now, of course, the military has plenty of armor and plenty of weapons, so on and so forth. But with alien technology, if it does exist, you think our armor would be a whole lot better, both on soldiers and on the vehicles that are driven or flown, et cetera, et cetera, and weapon power for that matter. You know, I know a lot of people.
Let's take it a step further. Let's avoid armor. Let's go to the nuts of the issue here. If they're flying that far, our aircraft would be better.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Straight across the board. That'd be a parallel, because if you're traveling that many billions of miles, you'd think they could, we should be able to circle the Earth multiple hundreds of times before refueling an airplane, and we're not.
Right. Well, heck, at this point, we'd be having flying cars if we had alien technology, for Pete's sake.
Well, now, that brings up a completely different thing, because apparently the government's been hiding this from us, about the whole interaction with aliens. Right. And this is something that Barack Obama said, that when he leaves office, he's going to spill the beans about what's in the book.
And every other candidate says they will when they get in.
Right, and they say they're going to get it off. So now the question is, if aliens really do visit, and say we do happen to have this power or this ability based on what the aliens have provided us, is the military or is the government purposely hiding it and allowing, we could have it right now, but are they thinking, if we extend this, then people will never know we actually have it from alien technology, but that humans have become smarter over generations, and that's what produces this, the new planes and the equipment, so on and so forth.
Well, this goes back to this whole conspiracy thing. How many people would have to know this secret for it to remain a secret? Because you start telling 5, 10, 15, 20 people, the odds of the secret not being a secret anymore go up every time you tell somebody.
Right.
So if we have 20 people that have these top-level meetings with aliens, it just seems like there's too many. Mm-hmm. And then, then you pair it back to 4 people have these meetings. How many people? Okay, so I just got out of the meeting with the aliens over there, and they told me to tell you this. that takes a lot of trust from the next person that you're telling to believe that this. So I don't know, and so you can play back the Trump versus whoever party thing. Mm-hmm. Well, if one party knew or had communications, the other party would have to have them too, because that way there's no, hate to say it this word, Trump card. Because if we've got higher connections than they do, so we're just going to keep the technology flowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know. It makes it. If it's then you get into the ultimate conspiracy of the New World Order and the Illuminati and above the government, and well, that's a whole big can of worms.
Right.
Yeah.
And like when you in every movie, alien movie you've ever seen, for an example, Independence Day, where they tell the president it was as a need to know, it's below your pay grade. The most important person that's supposed to be a part of our government, and they're below the pay grade to know that there's aliens that exist here. Come on.
Yeah. But then again, they're only in office for possibly 8 years, maybe 4.
Right.
Your senior officials at the Pentagon are there for 25 years. So
right. And to go along with the conspiracy, a lot of people say that the president is simply a spokesman, and that the Supreme Court has rule over him, which in a sense they do. So is that really all he is? Does he really have any true power? And of course he has limited power. He has a significant amount of power at that. But what's going on behind the doors, even behind the president's back? Are there things going on? What's going on overseas right now? We don't know. Is the military doing things that the rest of us don't know, that even the president doesn't know about? It's a possibility. Yeah. But
I believe there's stuff going on that, well, just take any corporation. There's stuff going on that the CE doesn't know, going on beneath him and beyond him, and he assumes everything's going great until somebody says, hey, that wingnut factory over there isn't working so well, and then he puts some attention to it. So,
the whole UFO aliens working with our government thing, any conspiracy theory really, unless it's got so much validity to it that you can't ignore, like you were saying, Jim, that's why Eric and I kind of stay away from that, even though if we did conspiracy theories, probably millions of people would be listening, but then we're selling out to do conspiracy theories. So
I wouldn't say millions, but actually the show that I did, again, months ago, that has drawn a lot of attention is Paranormal Conspiracies. Okay. Where I got into the different features. Because we're sitting here bantering back and forth. We all accept ghosts or spirit or Bigfoot or Sasquatch. But when you start saying these things and you don't pay attention to what you're just saying it because you accept it, the conspiracies and the thoughts behind all these terms and all these different ideas within the paranormal, people took it in. I don't know what they did with it, but I'm glad they tuned in and took the time to open their mind to maybe we should just narrow the focus a little bit. Maybe if we all set out to find Bigfoot instead of Sasquatch, I don't know. I hope, like I said, people listen to it for wherever it went. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see if anything comes out of it.
I think the biggest issue that we have in regards to conspiracy theories is people tend to devote so much of their time on the conspiracy theory and don't bother to look at the reality surrounding it. They don't look at the facts. They just want to see the stuff that's interesting and that they want to enjoy. Like, okay, so the Illuminati, yes, or their own reality. When you think, the Illuminati, we know it's a real thing, but do they have as much power as the conspiracy says that they have right now? Are they really in control of absolutely everything that America does? Well, people are just feeding into that like crazy. I know a number of different people who have radio shows who only talk about conspiracy theory and only talk about the Illuminati. And exactly, there it is. And it's like, oh, it's on the dollar bill. Oh, this sports team is part of the Illuminati, and this music group is part of the Illuminati, and this is Illuminati, that's Illuminati, the president's Illuminati, so on and so forth. It's just so far out driven and crazy that it actually sounds completely insane.
I've got a question. When did it become the Illuminati? It used to be Freemasons controlled the world. And then somewhere mid-90s, I guess it was, it slipped into the Illuminati, which is fine. And to address your point, when you start looking for something whether it be connections to the Illuminati or pictures of somebody or something. Every once in a while I'll see a car. It'll be driving down the road. Oh, it's an IKEA or a Kia. Okay, cool, nice car. And then for the next week, everywhere I go, I will see an orange one, a red one, a green one.
Right.
I'll pass hundreds of cars, and that car will always stand out. And you go, man, there's a lot of those Kias around. No, they're always have been there, but now you're paying attention to it. Your eyes catching it. And when you start looking for random little facts, oh, they shredded those documents, that must mean there's more proof to my conspiracy. Well, maybe not. Maybe there was nothing in those documents. Maybe they're just telling you they shredded those documents. There was never really documents.
Right.
But whatever facts make you, again, fit your puzzle, they fit your puzzle.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to go on what Eric was saying, and even yourself, the more you give into whatever conspiracy theory you're feeding into, you're just making them that much more powerful. So say the Illuminati are real, say that they are the most powerful thing, you're making them that much more powerful by speaking out against them.
Yes, or speaking for them. Every time you speak, it doesn't matter if you're speaking for or against somebody. As I tell people, hate the show, please comment hate, because I just see that as another number, another comment. It doesn't matter if you hate it, love it. It's just a comment. I see it as a comment. That's all good. But I guess beginning of February, it was cold here, snowing, and I had a lot of extra time on my hands, so I fell down the wormhole. I watched probably 25, no joke, 9/11 truther documentaries.
Wow, that's impressive, actually, to be honest with you.
It is in hindsight, and I was pretty sure by the end of it, I caused 9/11. I mean, because you start spinning these facts, and you're like, well, you kind of, they knew, and you could have stopped. It was like, so you knew. I mean, you could have stopped it. But obviously I didn't know. But you start twisting these things so deep within yourself, and you go, okay, yeah. Some of that stuff's really shady, and some of it I'd like to actually physically see in person. I don't trust everything I see on the internet or in these documentaries. So I'd like to, see some of this stuff in person, and then we'll make a real judgment on it. And until then,
right, yeah.
But I'm not going to watch it anymore. I've decided that 25, and it was probably within a week, and I seriously don't. I'm done. I've seen enough.
That's got to be a record. 25 videos.
I'm not sure how many are left even at this point, but I'm done with them. And it's okay. It's like a radio show. Some of them are really good and really well put together, and some of them I just was sucked into it. I couldn't turn it off because I figured maybe they might tell me something new.
Right, yeah.
And I think, another so many big issues coming up here, but not with just documentaries alone, but just about anything that you watch on television these days or anyone you talk with. They're never leaving the door open for you to make your own decision about what's true and what isn't. It's always, here, this is what I'm telling you is the truth. And then the next one is, here, this is what I'm telling you is the truth. And it's always, blah, 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 this is true, this is true, this is true. And then you're just stuck with, crap, I don't know what to do with any of this. And I would like to see a real nicely put together documentary where people give you both sides of the story and then say, okay.
I agree, but I don't know if there's money to be made with that either. I guess it's the bottom line of all these documentaries and productions. People have to sell it to whoever's going to buy it. And I don't know. That's just that's the problem. And like reality TV, they're selling it to a market. If it's whoever it is, it's whoever it is, and they're buying it or they're not buying it, and the show gets canceled and we move on.
So, we've touched base on pretty much everything, like I've said, under the paranormal umbrella. So is there any guests that you have that are coming up or in the past that have made you question what you believed before you talked to them?
That's a good question. It's not necessarily. Well, I had Bill Sweet on a couple months ago. I don't know. They all blur together anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And he was talking about the power of prayer, which was interesting because as I have evolved and changed around how I think about things, that kind of, I don't want to say got lost, but it wasn't necessarily something that was ever present in my part of my life, and to hear he's actually done some scientific research on it and how it does work and how it sometimes doesn't work, which was interesting to find out that I don't want to say necessarily changed how I thought, but I don't want to say opened my eyes, but made me think about how things were going.
That's actually kind of interesting.
I think you guys would love him.
Yeah.
I think you guys would like to talk to him. So remind me, I'll get you his contact information. So
cool. Well, let's jump back to this whole UFO thing real quick, just a little bit.
Okay.
And just simple question. I know Justin and a number of other people have had or experienced a UFO encounter, or what they believe is. Have you ever encountered something that you just can't explain?
Not UFO-wise. It's all been ghost-related. And I guess that's probably one of the questions that is still paramount in my mind, because it seems now the percentage is growing a little bit, but it's probably 1 or 2% of people who have had both ghost-related experiences and UFO experiences, which leads me to believe, again, this is June 2016, because I'm going to probably change my mind again on this, that maybe it's how the dimensions want you to see things or perceive things. Maybe I was more comfortable with that instead of the UFO thing. I don't know. So that's still ongoing, I guess. That's why I made sure to.
So I mean, what you're saying then is, in a sense, it's almost one and the same. This UFO and this interdimension thing, possibly. Like maybe possibly. I know a guy back in Cleveland who had mentioned to me once that he believed that what we were seeing that were considered UFOs are actually just doors into another dimension opening up in the sky, and spirits, doing it. And of course, we see it as one thing or believe it as one thing, but in reality, it's something different. And I thought that was really interesting, because that kind of makes sense. I mean, we all know that there is an interdimension, and that there's spirits on the other side somewhere, I mean, we've been investigating, talking about it for years now.
Right.
But UFOs is a completely different thing. Not all of us have seen it or have, experienced it. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting to think that they are possibly one and the same, but trying to get people to view that too.
And what an awesome door. Come on. I mean, I've got some doors in my house, and none of them are even close to being that awesome.
Look like a cigar, look like a rectangle, look like a triangle.
All mine are rectangles or squares. I mean, nothing too exciting. I mean, they don't fly away, I don't think. I'm not here all the time. No.
I actually do remember you telling me about that a little bit, about that guy talking to you about that. So, and at this point in my life, doing it for as long as we've been doing it, I think anything is a possibility, as far as especially UFOs, because people, as we've been saying, get pictures of them all the time. Is it a window or a door opening to let other things in, or to see into our dimension? Sure, I'd say that's a possibility.
Yeah, until we have a ship out back that I can climb aboard and periscope from. Be watching for that, by the way. I've been talking to some government officials, and we're trying to set that up.
Well, then you know who to hook up once you do that.
All right, folks, you're listening to Paratruth Radio. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back right after Justin's Paranormal Headlines.
And now, Paratruth Radio's Paranormal Headlines.
What's going on, Parafans? Justin here with your Paranormal Headlines. And these headlines are from unexplainedmysteries.com. Baby dragon hatches out in Slovenia cave. An extremely rare form of cave-dwelling salamander has emerged from its egg in Slovenia's Postona cave. Once believed to be real-life dragons, these peculiar creatures have adapted perfectly to living in complete darkness and have eked out an existence underground for millions of years. With their long, snake-like bodies, olms live and hunt exclusively in subterranean pools and rivers, such as those found in Postona Cave, around 30 miles southwest of Slovenia's capital, Ljubljana. Because they breed only once every decade, Ulm eggs are a rare spectacle indeed. And given that only 2 out of every 500 eggs will actually hatch, witnessing a baby Ulm emerge is even rarer still. This, however, was the sight that greeted a group of lucky visitors to Postona Cave this week, as one of the eggs being carefully monitored there actually hatched out on Tuesday. There is even a chance that more of the eggs could hatch out in the near future. Although both science and researchers' previous experience gave us almost zero chance that the drama unfolding in the cave aquarium before our very eyes would have a happy ending, we had faith it would happen, cave officials said in a statement. New scanner to help unlock pyramid's secret. A new type of scanning technology is being employed to look for hidden chambers inside the Great Pyramid. Developed by the French Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission, this new method used cosmic ray muon particles to build up a three-dimensional image of the interior. We're trying to discover the Pyramid of Giza and other pyramids as well, and whether or not there lies anything behind them or any secrets we do not know about, said scientist Yasser Al-Shayab. The first stage of the investigation will be to focus the scans on known areas of the pyramid to ensure that everything is worked before moving on to uncharted areas of the structure. The project is being headed up by former Egyptian Antiquities Minister Zahi Hawass. It's running right now, and if it manages to detect one of the 3 chambers we already know exist inside, then we will continue the scan, he said. The first results from the project are expected to be revealed early next month. And this has been Justin with your Paranormal Headlines.
This was a segment of Pure Truth Radio's Paranormal Headlines.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to Paratruth Radio. My name is Eric.
I'm Justin.
And we are talking to Jim Malliard of the Malliard Report, the fastest hour paranormal talk radio. Now, Jim, we always like to give our guests some time at the end of the show to just tell everyone where they can find you and anything you'd like to share whatsoever.
Well, the easiest place to find me is tmr247.com, and that has the links for the stream, the live show, the podcast, all the social media links, everything you ever want. You just go there, and it's off the one page. You can find it. If you can't find it, as I tell people, you probably just don't need it. And so that's that. And there's I want to say over 70 podcasts there. You can go download them all for free or listen to the stream. It's remarkable. Some of the, I don't know, it blows my mind what I've got going right now. And so that's that. And actually, if you go over right now, you'll get George Norrie. He'll be the new program when you go over after you listen to the show. So I had George on, and an amazing conversation. We talked a tiny bit of radio, but mostly paranormal stuff, kind of like we did tonight. And it's fascinating to hear him talk about things on the others. I know he does open lines, but it's nice to have a nice flow of somebody, and you can just, like we did tonight, just go back and forth about different topics. And
the fact that you actually got him on is saying something, because I had tried to contact him several times and never got an answer back.
Apparently, I know, but he apparently for some reason likes my show. I can't explain it. He was on last summer, and I don't know how stars aligned for me. I don't have an easy answer to that.
I don't have to be so humble. Oh, come on.
Well, it seriously just started with he did an interview with a member of a forum that I was on, and this member did a bunch of hashtags at the end of his videos, and one of them was Free the Duck when I was on part of another network. And George Norrie said it before this interviewing member said it, and so I sent George a message on that forum. I said, thanks for the shout out. Mm-hmm. Would you be interested in coming on my show sometime? And all I got back was one word, sure. And I'm thinking, okay. So I waited until Art's new program was coming on, and I sent him a message a few weeks ahead of time and said, hey, Art's coming back. Do you want to come on my show? And I got back, sure. And I'm thinking, boy, this communication, I just need a little bit more. So I sent the time and information, and he said, okay, we can do that. And I felt good then. But even when you get that okay then, we can do that, you're never sure because, he's a busy guy. He's got all this stuff going on. Mm-hmm. So until I dialed the number out and George Norrie, I wasn't sure he was actually going to come on. And then at the end of the interview, I said, hey, I've got to get you back on because, we talked about Coast and radio and all that other stuff. Hey, I got to get you to come back on and talk paranormal stuff sometime. And he said, sure again. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And so I waited until my 5-year anniversary show came up, and I sent him another message, and he said yes. And he actually said yes that time. So I felt a lot better about it. And called him up. And
sweet.
So I don't know. There was no magic. Just a fluke connection through some other person that worked. And that's how I think. That's what we talk. We talk to each other back and forth about guests and people. And it's the connections between us and the connections that we make with guests that make any of these shows really work. Because if we tried to do it alone, we'd all fail. With just being bold and cocky and ignorant about the connections that somebody could have to somebody else. So,
and I think that's something Eric and I both agree on since starting Paratruth Radio. We were on Para X, then I went off to Fate, which became Shark Radio, and I'm dropping these names because I can honestly care less if they want to sue me. Go ahead. There's no money to be gained.
I was going to say there's no slander there.
Well,
we're there. I mean,
right. But I left Shark Radio. Eric left Para X, and for a while I did Parasite by myself. But doing it the way I was doing it got so expensive that I'm like, you know what? For 2 listeners a week, I can't afford doing this the way that I'm doing it. So, we had a small hiatus in there and then came back with a vengeance, no less, to be a part of iHeartRadio on their podcast area and get on YouTube and start doing the videos and have such an amazing acceptance and what's the word I'm looking for?
You have to presence. You have to have a presence. You can't just be on your website and thinking that's great.
Right.
Because it's not.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
No matter how great your website is, and you guys, this is nice, but if you're not where the people are listening, you're missing half, 3/4 of what's going on.
Right.
So.
All right, Jim. I know you gotta go get ready for your show. Thanks so much for coming on, and as soon as we have maybe even just a specific topic to talk about with you, we'll have you on again.
I was going to say, I'm an open book, so whatever you guys want to talk about, you know where to find me. If you can't find me, you're not looking for me.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you later.
Yep, have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, folks. That was the one and only Jim Malliard. So if you guys didn't check out the show that we did with him, definitely go check that out. But this one was just as good, I would say, because, like I said, I honestly didn't know where the conversation would go because we had already done the show with him. Right. So everybody knew. I mean, everybody knows if you listen to Paratruth what Eric's take on things and what my take on things are. So. Best I could say is very awesome guest, very awesome guy. So next week, if you guys saw our post on Facebook and everything, is going to be our 2-year anniversary episode. Honestly, did I ever see it being 2 years? I wanted it to be, but it was kind of hard going at first when we first got started. Again, as far as how we were broadcasting, that sort of a thing. Eric and I knew where each of us stood on topics, so it was good to have that base. But going to Blog Talk, switching to Spreaker, and then eventually ending up on iHeartRadio and starting the video on YouTube. honestly don't think it would have gotten this far, but it has, and it's been awesome. So for anybody out there that did not see the post, but you're hearing this show, if you have any questions for Eric or I that we have not ever answered for you, give us a holler. And there will be a question for our podcasting friends as well, which you guys will see on Facebook or through email. So, any news on your end as far as movies or anything like that? Any updates?
Well, I'm just currently working on getting the film onto DVDs. Cleveland is accepting films for the Cleveland Film Festival, which for next March, which, it's one that I've been most interested in getting into. So I'm trying to get that all set up so I can go ahead and apply to that.
Is that one of the harder ones to get into?
That was pretty rough. That's one of the bigger ones, believe it or not. Cleveland Film Festival has got a bit of history behind it, I don't think anyone will say it's the largest of the large, or close to it.
Right.
But it's definitely significant in regards to pushing you forward or keeping you back in the industry, I believe. And I think there'll be people who agree or disagree with me, but regardless,
for it to be from where you're from, on top of that,
exactly. That's the only thing I'm really interested in. It's just hometown. So, so that's the one thing I'm working toward now. Beside that, no real news movie-wise or film-wise other than that. I'm just kind of preparing myself for a wedding that I have to attend.
It'll be
in a couple of weeks.
But we'll figure it out.
It's gonna be a good time. We got a few weeks left here, a couple weeks left here actually, I think. Just keep on trucking. Got the show to do. We got the gym to go to. Cars, everything.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah, and still nothing for my book, so I'm thinking starting publishing house is my best route for that. So, folks, stay tuned for any type of logos, any type of websites, anything like that for a new publishing company, as well as the book. I'm hoping to get it out to you guys sooner than later, because I am working on my second book, which is actually not linked to the first one. So it'll be interesting, because I kind of needed a break from the legendary creature saga after taking so long to get it done. So
after one book, taking a break from the entire saga.
I'll probably hop back to it after this one.
Yeah, you're going to be like Hollywood. Oh, here's a sequel 20 years later.
Hopefully not that long.
Wait a second.
It took me 6-7 years to write the book to begin with.
You say, because after 20 years, the majority of the population never saw the first one. So,
well, keep that in mind for yourself as well.
Indeed. Touche.
All right, folks. So, like I said, next week, 2-year anniversary episode. Week after that, we're probably going to be airing one of our guest appearances because, as Eric said, we have a wedding to get ready for. So it'll just be a show that we did with somebody else.
We figured, why remain cousins when we can get married, right? The laws are passing. So,
actually, believe it or not, one of the questions on the license application is, are you two related?
Oh, gosh. What's wrong with this sick world?
Because in North Dakota, except for first cousins, there's a lot of states that are like that too, but it made Shelly and I chuckle. We're like, what? Why is this question on here?
No, we're brother and sister.
Oh, yucky. Okay, so on that note, until next week, where you will find us same time, same channel. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric. Peace. If you enjoyed this episode of Paratruth Radio, and you would like to listen to it again, or are interested in listening to any of our past episodes, then you can listen to them on HD at our website, paratruthradio.com.
And you can also find us at Stitcher, Blueberry, TuneIn, iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube.
And of course, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for brand new updates of our show every day.